Hello everyone, it's LURKER plugins, and today we are going to do an overview and a demo of the Contrast Distortion, a new distortion effect plugin. It's available for Mac AU and 64-bit, as well as Windows VST3 64-bit and VST2 64-bit. Today we're going to be testing the Windows versions on a Windows 7 computer in Mixcraft 8. The plugin has not been installed on this computer yet, so we should get a fresh start and be able to go over the entire installation process. All right, so we go to Contrast Distortion after you download it. As you can see, there are two versions. One of them is for the Contrast Distortion, the full one, and then there's the mini version as well. We're gonna do the full version today. Okay, so here you can see there's the VST2 and the VST3 folders, and then we're gonna start with the VST3. And then we take that folder and just click and drag into your VST3 folder. And then, yes, you want to do that. And then we go back, go VST2, keep in mind this is 64-bit. And then we can just click and drag this into our VST2 folder. Usually your plugin folder is set by your digital audio workstation, but generally for Windows, the VST3 plugins are located in Program Files, Common Files, VST3. All right. Installation is done. Okay, now we're going to open up Mixcraft to test the plugin. We have Mixcraft, we have our instrument, which we will change to one of my favorite plugins, the GSS 370. It's basically a simple FM synthesizer. Sounds like this. All right, that's the dry sound. And now we are going to add in the contrast distortion effect that we just installed. And here I can see the VST3 version of the plugin. First, we're going to go over the signal chain. All right, so the first thing in the signal chain is this input volume here. And there's hints for the controls if you scroll over right there like that. So there's the input volume that routes to the low pass filter, and then to the high pass filter, and then to this contrast knob here, which is similar to a decimator, but not exactly. This is sort of a special control just for this plugin. And then that goes to the gain, then to the shape of the distortion, and then you can further fold and distort the waveform after that. Okay, after the distortion chain, it goes to the filter. There's a bypass switch, of course, cutoff and resonance as they normally work. But then there's all these different kinds of filters over here. We have low pass filters, high pass filters, bypass filters, and a bunch of different combinations. Band reject filters. You know, there's 3 in that one. But this kind of should give you a lot of options as far as tonal range. And then down here with these white bars, we have peak meters for all of the different frequency channels for the sound input from the distortion to the filter, and then it goes to the peak meters. All right, you have got to see how the peak meters work, and that basically is so that you can keep track of your signal chain and make sure nothing's clipping after all these heavy distortion controls. And then so the signal after that gets sent to the frequency space, and that's basically kind of your final EQ setting, and you'll actually be able to see the offsets in these peak meters as well, though if you put it to the center you'll get the signal up until that point, so you can keep track like normal. But let's see how that looks when I put it all the way to the low and to the mids. All right, and then as you can see, there is this output peak meter as well, which is basically the final output volume, and you can keep track of whether or not you're clipping and losing quality. This output volume here will affect that output peak meter and the final output again, so you can kind of keep track of all of that. All right, let's get into a sound demo of this plugin. And now for the audio demo for the contrast distortion. First, I'm going to play you a dry, no effects synth riff, and then I'm going to keep playing the loop and start messing with the controls, and we're going to see what we can make. All right, that was the dry sound, and now for the sound with the distortion. Let's get into it. All right, so that was a demo about how to shape your sounds and kind of the process of creating a distortion that isn't gonna completely clip at every single point in the signal chain. And next we're going to get into one of my favorite uses with this plugin and a lot of effect plugins, which is taking advantage of the automation of the controls. So here we go to where track volume normally would be, where we can make little curves like that. Let's reset that. But we're gonna go to the contrast distortion. We can see different things. There's the contrast, there's the cutoff, there's the filter space, which is the frequency space. And then all the different controls available. So I think we're gonna start with the cutoff just for a quick demo. Okay, let's hear how that sounds. Okay, so that was a pretty quick curve up with the filter there. And then now we're gonna reset the filter so that we can check out what the frequency space controls can offer us. We're gonna take both the X and the Y, and basically we're gonna create a sort of sweeping effect through all the different frequencies. So for X, it's gonna be between low and high, and we'll make that one kind of a quick back and forth here. And then here at the bottom for the Y, for the mid to the reject, that's gonna be kind of a longer sweep. All right, let's see how that sounds. Okay, as you can see, that's just basically fading through all the different frequency ranges as we go through all those automation controls. And you can see it on the plugin itself. And this is the overview of using the automation controls with the effect. It can add a lot of depth to the music that you're making. Being able to change these over time allows you to create kind of these sweeping effects where it changes frequencies over time, or, you know, of course, like we did in the first place, a sort of a build up or kind of sweep into the sound with the filter. Of course, this can be done with distortion or any of these other controls that you see here. All right, that was the overview of the contrast distortion. Of course, there's a contrast distortion mini. We're not going to go over that one in a video. It's basically just a quicker version of this plugin with the input, contrast, gain, shape, a low pass filter, and then the output volume. This one, of course, is the full version, but the mini version is available for those who kind of want a quick and easy, really loud distortion. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, direct them to synthivplugins@gmail.com, or you can speak to @pluginslurker on Twitter. We are the most active there, and you can find news for new plugins, beta testing, and, you know, make suggestions and kind of keep up with us on there. Contrast distortion will be available on KVR Audio and other sites soon. This is going to be a free plugin along with the mini. I make these plugins for my personal use, and then I get to share them with everyone else once I'm done using it for myself. So this is always a really fun time to create a new plugin and share it with you.
Lurker out.